Welcome to Life and Living. I'm Joanna Gagis. For kids growing up in unstable homes, the impact of mentorship can make all the difference. Big Brothers Big Sisters is proving that with 95% of their kids going on to graduate from high school. I'm joined right now by Lejnieks, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Essex, Hudson, and Union counties right here in New Jersey. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
What does the impact of mentorship do to a child? How does mentorship impact a child?
Sure, it's a simple thing that adds up over time to be transformative. We see the ripple effects in not only that child's life, but then also in the community in which they live and also the schools in which they attend. And also it's deeply impactful for the adult mentor as well. Big Brothers Big Sisters has been around for over a century. It's one of the best practices, evidence-based organizations that sources positive adult volunteer mentors and through a thoughtful process pairs them up with at-risk children that come to us from a variety of ways.
So how do you pair them? Explain how that works.
Sure. We essentially get to know each participant. Obviously our numbers are great and we want to scale and we want to get as many people as possible. Last year we had over 1,100 children with one-to-one mentors over time.
One-on-one. Each one is one-on-one.
Exactly right.
All volunteer-based mentors?
Exactly right. So the positive is that, thank you for having us here and helping us spread the word. We need to spread the word to have more people understand the value and the impact and know that mentoring is also fun as well and accessible. All it takes is 4 hours a month for 1 year to become a big brother or big sister. And throughout our program, especially on the onboarding process, we get to know the adult and their interests, the things that drive them and what gets them motivated to mentor children. Similarly, we get to know the child and see what things the assets that they have yet to develop, knowing that they have a lot of potential yet fully explored and yet fully developed. But for having that mentor,
right.
They would not have been able to see certain things about themselves. And so we draw that out from them through this process.
So you find out what each one's interests are. It's almost like a match-making service, right? So
Exactly
you find
right.
out that they're compatible. And then what kinds of things do they do together? You said it's 4 hours a month, so that's 1 hour once a week?
Yeah, it can be broken down 1 hour a week, 2 hours every other week, and that's the requirement, that's the minimum.
Right.
What we see is if we do our job right and we play matchmaker well
right.
and we support them with a specially trained supervisor over time, that these relationships blossom into much more than that.
And what do they do?
They do a number of different things. We have a curriculum for a lot of our school-based partnerships. For example, one of our proudest moments is when we do vision boards with our littles and bigs. And they essentially work together on the vision for themselves, what the children see in themselves on the starting part of the relationship. And we also do that at the end of the relationship and see what the vision looks like at the end. And what we see emerge in this vision board, for example, is sometimes things like the red R. And you wonder, why do you have a red R there? Well, because my big brother went to Rutgers and we then, part of our experience in the past year, we visited the campus of Rutgers or St. Peter's, for example. And so the visions evolve with the experience. So
they go on trips together. You said they go to Rutgers. Do they do other things, kind of getting outside of this, Newark area that they're in, or it's beyond Newark, but it's Union, Hudson counties as well?
That's right, yeah. So most of our kids come from Newark, Jersey, and Jersey City, the two biggest cities in our state with disproportionate challenges.
And what do they do? So give me some activities.
Yep, so we had our annual picnic, for example, where we did a lot of activities. We did yoga, we do Zumba, we exposed them to different things. We had a health and cooking class as well, where the bigs and littles shared the experience of making healthy, healthful cooking practices. We do the vision board. We take trips into Manhattan sometimes as well. One case example is, many of our kids are literally across the river from Manhattan, and yet sometimes they don't often go into Manhattan, and rarely, recently we had one of our littles go in, and he was 5 minutes away from New York City, Times Square. He had seen it on TV and never been there before. And this was one of those eye-opening experiences for me as we were en route to another event, that he was taking a number of pictures and his jaw dropped looking at Times Square and the grandness of Times Square. The things that I was taking for granted, that his big brother was taking for granted, was the thing that he was in awe of. Sometimes you don't have to overthink the relationship to give a simple exposure to something new that might change a child's life.
What is the impact on the mentors in this? Because it's beyond the kids, right?
Yeah, and this is the blessing that we see evolve, that on average the mentors spend 8 hours per month for more than 1 year. So the 1 year marker is not an end of the program, but it's a celebration, the continuation of the program. So that wouldn't happen unless the mentor, the volunteer mentor, decided to double down and wanted to continue this relationship. And so this becomes a natural extension of their lives as a mentor. We see things emerge like the mentee, the little, as we call them, little brother, little sister, becoming part of life moments for these bigs. So wedding parties, births of children. And then these children, again, they come to us from a variety of reasons. About a third of them come from the DIFAS system, state-mandated social workers, refer them to us because of the challenges going on at the home structure. And seeing their bigs have positive, stable, loving, caring relationships at home, exposing our children to that stability is revolutionary sometimes.
And DIFAS, for our audience who doesn't know, it's actually DCF, Department
right.
of Children and Families, kids who are in the state and the foster system.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting new development with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it's a partnership with the Give Something Back Foundation. Explain what that partnership is.
Yeah, first of all, the first partner that we had at Big Brothers Big Sisters when I took over the agency 8.5 years ago was with St. Peter's University. The president of St. Peter's committed to helping us expand the mentoring movement in Jersey City and beyond.
And that's Gene Kornacki.
Gene Kornacki, he's an amazing man. He's on our advisory board and I'm on his board of regents. It's been a wonderful relationship. And recently he connected us to Bob Carr and the Give Something Back Foundation. And they've been amazing to us, transformative in terms of their support of the spirit of mentoring, giving us access to their young scholars, as well as financial support to help us grow this program. We're launching a pilot right now, and we're hoping to expand it over time.
And so just to be clear, the Give Something Back Foundation allows children to go to school debt-free.
Yeah.
Room, board, tuition is all paid. The students have to meet certain academic criteria, and a lot of these kids are coming from situations where unstable family homes, a lot of times are incarcerated parents, no financial ability to pay, right? So through this program, explain how Big Brothers Big Sisters is helping to mentor the individuals who help mentor those students through college.
Yeah, so the phrase, you can't be what you can't see, applies here, right? Many of our children that come from communities that have maybe not parents from college-going parents, may not have that exposure, don't understand how to navigate the nuances of going into college and getting there. So we're mentoring ninth graders through this program, and we hope to track them into college through our partnerships at St. Peter's and Montclair State and a number of different universities that Bob and his wonderful foundation has taken on. And he really does understand the power of what a one-to-one committed relationship can offer a child who is exploring the world for the first time, especially the world of universities and college.
That program has grown from 100 kids to 1,000 kids in the last
Our
8
big
years.
Big Brothers Big Sisters, we've grown about tenfold, exactly right.
That's you, okay.
Yep.
And I can't let you get out without reminding the audience that 95% of these kids are graduating high school, which in a city like Newark or Jersey City, those statistics are hugely different.
Absolutely right. They come to us from schools that sometimes have graduation rates about half that. And we know that we're not the panacea in all this, we're part of a solution, but in partnership with families and positive foundations and supports, we can see our children's lives transform and they can beat the odds.
Carlos Lejnieks, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Essex, Hudson, and Union counties, I want to thank you on behalf of all the children in New Jersey who you've impacted. Thank you so much.
Life and Living has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and NJTV. Funding for this edition of Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been provided by Century 21 Construction, St. Peter's University, New Jersey Resources, Create, ShopRite Supermarkets, Gary's Wine and Marketplace, and by Adler Aphasia Center. Additional support provided by Melandre Salon and Sulis Spa. Look beautiful, feel beautiful. Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.